proper warm-up attire?
Proper warm-up attire. I want you sweating. I want you into a sweat. I've seen people warming up, you know, they're in shorts like this. And they're warming up, getting ready to run, or they're in that's their tank top. They're called sweatpants or warm-up pants. You wear them. You want to be nice and warm. Yes, good question, because a lot of people don't. Like I said, I've been fortunate, no one's gotten hurt. That's one of the reasons. They warm up, literally, you'll see them. They'll be sweating when they get to the line. And then you take it off at the last minute. Same way it's really cold, you know, you be the same way I told you to be like one of the last ones to get into the blocks. You be like one of the last ones taking your stuff off too. You don't just take it off real quick and run over to the line and waiting while everyone else does, because you get cold.
What's the best time to like warm up? Is some teams like as soon as they get there, they're warming up?
Okay, what do you think the best time? When's the best time to warm up?
I'd say maybe 30 to 45 minutes before the race.
Same.
You say that? Okay. What I'm saying is, first of all, general rule of thumb: the warmer it is, the less warming up you need. Right. The colder it is, the more you do. Whatever you do in practice. One of the things I take the most pride in is I think 87% of my athletes that made it to the NCAAs made All-American. Okay, so if you got there, there's a pretty good chance. 9 out of 10, you're going to make All-American. And one of the reasons for that is because we treated it like just a regular meet. You know, you automatically, I don't have to get them all hyped up, because more people fail from trying too hard. That's ruined more performances than anything. So it's just another meet. But I've also gone there and I've seen, you know, we warm up probably 25 minutes or so, then we start practice. When we get to a national championship or a state championship or an invitational or whatever, 25 minutes or so, just like we do in practice. The only thing changes between practice and competition is the scenery. Okay, we're not on our home track. We're wherever. So that's the only thing that changes. We don't go out there, and I've seen too many teams an hour and a half before they're out warming up. No, do what got you there, you'll be fine. But I want you warming up together as a group, okay? And depending on the weather, you stay there, make sure you know the lanes. On the 4x4 exchange, that's a little bit different. First of all, you do not have a fly line. You have the 20 meters to make the exchange. So again, you must be on the inside. So remember the standing starts we were talking about? If you're standing there and you do this and step back over the line, you'll be disqualified. And you must have the baton must be before you get out of that zone. But you still have 20 meters, which is more than enough time. The handoff is totally different as well. In the 4x1, it's the incoming runner's responsibility to make sure the outgoing runner gets the stick. Here is the outgoing runner's responsibility to make sure they grab the stick. I just saw the NCAA championships where a team was running and they were so excited, they reached back, thought he grabbed it, went to take off, missed the stick. So focus on the handoff. This, I also see this. That's not how we go. We don't run like that. A couple things you want to do. Whatever comes off the turn, whatever position you are in coming off the turn for the third and fourth runner, because otherwise you're running a 2-turn stagger, 3-turn stagger, that's how you line up. So in other words, if you're in first place and your guy dies and he gets passed by 2 or 3 people, you don't let those people in front of you and you go to bear. I've seen too many teams make that mistake. Little things make a difference. So if you're in the lead down there, you stay here. You don't let people come up and take your spot, because the rule is that's what happens coming off the turn. Now, on the other hand, if you're in 4th or 5th place, and our people always finish strong, we don't get beat in the last 60 meters. So we pass some people, you attempt to go and go there. And if they're dumb enough to let you, that's fine. You try to get up in front. That's how you line up, however they come off the turn. This one, I want you standing. Okay, let's say I'm in lane 2 because we're in 2nd place. I want you standing on the outside of the lane. The incoming runner will have the baton in her right hand. They'll be running on the inside. You're gonna be standing here, and I have my my left foot, a little bit further ahead. Rather than like this, because if I'm like this, and I go to run real quick, I could trip. Where, if my feet are like this, and I turn, I eliminate that chance. So right here, if I turn, I pivot, that's not gonna happen. But if I'm like this, I've seen too many, here, you get excited, and they trip. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, I squat down a little bit. I'm here. I'm watching the feet of my incoming runner, and that's going to determine how fast I go out. Now we do our practicing, we practice after we've worked out. I've seen too many high school teams, I've seen too many college teams. They do 4x4 practices, they begin to practice when everybody's fresh. They come in way too fast. That's not realistic. Even if you're a 45-second quarter miler, you're not running 45-second pace that last 10 meters. You're running 50-second pace. So you got to practice that. And the other mistake I see is people, they're not going to make the exchange, so they speed up. in reality, you're not going to be able to speed up. You know, you've already run a quarter. You can't just all of a sudden speed up. You shouldn't be able to anyway. If the person's running away from you for practice, don't run faster to catch him because it defeats the purpose. So you're going to be here, and I want you squatting down a little bit. And the reason for that, Division I can get pretty brutal. Just stand up nice and straight, and people go on, they'll give you a little push. And it didn't take much. I did very little. Now, if you squat down, and I'm pushing much harder, but he's not going anywhere. You see? So that's why you're here, and you get yourself a base. Now I can't, it doesn't really happen. Where when he's standing up real easy, I push him, he's out of the way. All right, so I'm here. Now, I want you on this half of the lane because, again, the baton's staying in the middle. But you're going to reach back, you're going to grab it, okay? 4x1, I'm thinking like this, but I can't grab you, I don't want it like this. I reach back, I'm going to grab you, okay? This way. I could have got that neck, that looked good on me anyway. You reach back and you grab it, but you focus on the baton. So you see it, and you have it, and you're going from there. And once you get it in your left hand, once you're out of traffic. Now there's a couple other reasons. We're always looking to the inside. I don't want you here. One of the reasons I don't want you here, you say, oh, you could do the same thing. You could be this way like this. When I'm this way, with my peripheral vision, I can still see where the curbing would be. Okay, we don't have a curb on this one, but I can still see the line. All right, so I don't step on it. Where this way, I could come running. And Alberto Guantarino, the Cuban, the horse, known as the horse, he did that one time. And he stepped on the curbing, and boom, leg snapped. So it broke right here. So this went this way. And he was the Olympic champion of 400 and 800 meters. The only non-English speaking person to ever win the 4 and the 8, the same year. We don't want that. Also, when I take it in here, I come in and take it, boom, I get on the inside, protecting. We used to go up to Millrose games and so forth. People are brutal. You take it out here, and there's other runners, they'll hit your hand. They'll knock you down. You go international competition, they will hit you and knock it out of your hand. Here, I can protect it. Then when I get it gone, I feel comfortable and I got space, I can move it over. You're watching the incoming feet, and you go out. I want you running. I want you the first thing you do, you're watching your runner, you look and see, make sure nobody else is in front of you. Okay, no one else is, and by the way, when you run, stay in your lane. Do not veer off here. If you can, if nobody's coming, you can get off the inside. But if you stay in your lane, you won't get disqualified. Try to run forward, get out of the way, but don't go here, and run into somebody, you get disqualified. Right? You got to know the rules.
What is one of your biggest pet peeves? Because I just watched the NCAA.
I got a lot of pet peeves.
I just seen the NCAAs not too long ago, and I saw a team. They got on the inside of the runner. Now, you're not supposed to let that happen? Or?
No, you do not let anybody pass you on the inside if that's what you're asking. Yes, that's why God gave an elbow. Okay, you think it's for all that? No, it's for somebody comes by. Now, you're coming down last straightaway, you are running here, but you make sure, you should be able to feel, nobody goes by on the inside. Once you're in front, now you can't let him get right here and then push him off. No, that doesn't work. But you can feel him coming here. All right, yes, you don't let someone pass you on the inside. Now, we were fortunate enough, I would say at least 2 times, probably 3 times, winning the NCAA championships indoors, the NCAA Division I championships indoors, is because we get out front and we controlled the race. And we had our opponent run on the outside. So we went around those turns, 200-meter track, all right? So we got lots of turns, and we made them run the lane 2. So they had to run extra distance the whole time, 3 different laps. They might have been a little more talented, we ran a little smarter. And again, we showed you, if I'm running lane 1, and I can keep my opponent, so we don't let them pass us on a straightaway. And then they try. A lot of people make the mistake trying to pass on the turn. What you want to do is start, if you're going to pass, especially on an indoor track, you start accelerating about the middle turn, so when you get to the straightaway, you got your speed going. If you wait to the straightaway, your acceleration, you're already at the other end on an indoor track, especially 200. Now things have changed a lot. You have a lot of 300-meter tracks and so forth and so on. I want you here, I want you running, I want you to look, make sure no one else is in the way. Now we never worried about that because we were always in the lead. We never had anybody in front of us. So you get there, reach back, grab the stick. When it's safe, move to the inside. And then you run on the inside of your lane.
My father told me like a story about, I don't know if it was 85 or 86. It was SMU and Baylor, and he remembered like the 4x4. Now, he remembered that you guys had like the same lineup for a little while, but then there was like a switch. I don't know why or by, I remember you were the coach for even though I
Right.
wasn't born. I
That would have been that could have been any one of those years. 86 when it came down to the national championship, and we had to beat Baylor and UCLA, and Baylor was the defending national champions, and they lost one guy. They lost a weak leg, and they replaced him with a guy by the name of Michael Johnson. Yeah, Michael Johnson, who went on to set the world record in the 400. So we had to beat them, and we also had to beat UCLA. UCLA had a guy by the name of Smith who won the gold medal in the 400. Danny Everett, who won the bronze medal in the 400, and then they had Everett, and they had the good intermediate hurdler Kevin Young, who was the world record holder and the gold medalist, and then they had a freshman who was a top freshman coming out of high school that year, ran 45:22. Yeah, and after the first round, we had the 5th best time, so we were in lane 3. But we knew we had to win them because if we won that, we won the national championship. If we got second, we were second, so we didn't have a choice. And I can tell you a lot about the psychological things that went through my mind. We'll do that. We'll go back inside, and I'll explain a little bit about because I remember that it's been 30-some years ago, and it seems like, I remember it quite well. All of a sudden, I got a little bit of butterflies, you know. But we'll tell you more about that, and we'll show you. And you'll see there's some pretty good exchanges. You'll be able to see the exchanges that we're talking about, and we practiced the exchanges. But the point you were making is that I always timed the other teams. I knew what Baylor splits were, who they were running, and UCLA. Coaches are creatures of habit. They run the same people, same order. I could also, again, I've been fortunate enough to win over 100 championships, somewhere along the line, whether they be conference championships, regionals, or nationals. And probably a third of those is because we played the chess game. Because we could say, oh, he's going to run this one here, and he's going to run that one there, and he's going to run that. You could tell him, and you can go and you can move your people around to take points away from them. But in that particular race, I knew there was a weakness. There was Baylor, we knew how we could beat them. UCLA, we had a plan how we could beat them. But I never ran the same people in the finals in the same order that I ran in the trials. Now, quite often, though, that's misleading because we'd run like a B team in the trials because they would still be good enough to make the finals. Like the Sven Nylander. Okay, he ran 47.98 in hurdles, and he was our number 5 or our number 6 guy on a 4x4. But yet he could run 44 point on a relay. All right, so he was backup. So we had some horses, but he's great to run in the trials. We had some other people. They'd run the trials, get us to the finals, and we would try to match up accordingly. But that's where you got to know your opponents.
A single point over Washington State if that happened.
They've got their work cut out for them. Baylor in lane 4 is last year's NCAA champion. They've got 3 of those 4 guys back.
SMU, lane 3.
And Spells leading off for SMU was left a little behind in the blocks. Good start for UCLA in lane 2. Anthony Washington running the first leg for the Bruins.
Of course, they'll stay in their staggers around 3 turns, the whole first leg plus the first turn of the second leg. So it's tough to see who's ahead. You want to look for teams that are catching up to the teams in the lane outside of them. TCU, all the way on the outside, lane 8, looks pretty good right now.
Running the second leg for SMU, and again, they must win this race to win the team championship, will be Rod Jones, recently a first-round draft choice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's a good handoff for SMU, and Jones is a veteran. He knows how to run here. He's got the guy from Baylor just outside of him, a little bit ahead, and he's going to know where to position himself as they come off this turn. Watch him break for the inside.
Well, it's an all-Southwest Conference leaderboard right now, you might say. TCU in front, Baylor second, Rod Jones has SMU in third.
He's got to be careful not to get past and boxed in as they go around this turn, and I think the next handoff is going to be very important. You got Roy Martin waiting to take the baton from Rod Jones as Jones swings out wide, and Jones has got to stay out of trouble as they come down this straightaway.
And don't rule out UCLA. Kevin Young with a good second leg for the Bruins. Now Roy Martin has taken the baton for the Mustangs. This has not been his strongest competition. The NCAA finals. He was a disappointment to not make the finals in the 100 and did not place high in the 200, but he can make up for it here in the final event.
And this is exactly where he says he likes to be. He says he likes to get it behind in the 4x400 relay because then he can really let it loose. We'll see what he does as he comes around the final turn here.
Well, Baylor won it last year, and they are in the lead right now with Derwin Graham, a member of that championship team of 1985. But here comes Roy Martin, the freshman sensation of SMU. He'll give them the lead as they go into the final leg of the 4x400.
Martin looks great, and that's a great handoff to Robenzine. This is what they need. They got to protect him. They got to put him in the lead.
Robenzine 300 meters away from a team championship for SMU. Baylor right behind, and Danny Everett for UCLA on the outside cannot be ruled out.
Both Thomas and Everett look so good in the 400, but Robenzine beat them there. The real key is, can he hold this lead as he comes around the turn?
Look at Everett coming up. Everett of UCLA has moved into second. It is still Robenzine of SMU in the lead. The final 20 meters will decide the team championship. Robenzine, will he hold on? Yes, he does.
What a victory for SMU. They were our favorite coming into this meet. Things didn't go right for them.
That was fun. I want to thank Coach Ralph White for inviting me and the other young coaches to talk more about track and field. Like I said before in the intro, we hope that there was something that caught your eye and was worth your while you're watching our video. I hope to be doing more videos in the near future, and if you're interested, hopefully it'll be with you. Lastly, if you have some girls you'd like to send out at Cleveland State University, please feel free to reach out at any time. Again, thank you for watching our video. Have a great day.